Coming up on DFE News, renovations at the White House are causing earthquakes, political earthquakes, that is. Also, is it legit for a president to use that autopen? What happens if the president wasn't the one to make the decision? And it's hard to find wholesome children's programming from Hollywood. What if kids had a say in what they want to see? Tige Charity tells us about kids in the spotlight. We've got news for you, those stories and more right now on DFE News. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on DFE News, news done right. I'm Jeff Kirk. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share so everyone gets to see DFE News. So much is going on. Let's get right to it. Did you feel those political earthquakes? There's been massive outrage from the left as construction begins on the East Wing of the White House to build a new formal ballroom. The East Wing, first built in 1942 to cover a bomb shelter, is being demolished in order to build a ballroom to be used for formal events. But Democrats are attacking President Trump over the construction. They say the demolition is outrageous. But renovations to the White House are nothing new. The East Wing itself was built under Franklin Roosevelt, and over the years, presidents have added additional floors, swimming pools, bowling alleys, gardens, even a basketball court. Until now, the White House had to set up temporary tents on the South Lawn for state events, with portable space heaters and portable bathrooms. The new ballroom will provide space for 650 guests, as well as shelter from the elements and protection from overhead drones. And yes, indoor plumbing too. Still, some on the left are calling for any future Democrat candidate to pledge to take a wrecking ball to the ballroom on day one. The renovation cost is estimated at $300 million, all of which is being covered by private donations from individuals, as well as companies like Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Comcast, the parent company of NBC and MSNBC. Well, remember all of those pardons and executive actions President Biden allegedly signed with the autopen? The House Oversight Committee is recommending those documents to the Department of Justice for investigation. In a 91-page report released Tuesday, the GOP-led House Oversight Committee found that, quote, as President Biden declined, his staff abused the autopen and a lax chain of command policy to effect executive actions that lack any documentation on whether they were, in fact, authorized. The report could have serious consequences, especially for those who received preemptive pardons in the final days of Biden's term, like General Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the January 6th committee, and the president's son, Hunter. Using the autopen is nothing new for presidents. President Obama also used it during his administration, but in his case, he was out of the continental U.S. at the time, and it was to sign legislation already passed by Congress, not for unilateral pardons. If the DOJ finds these pardons are not legitimate, it could open the possibility of legal action against Fauci for his role during the COVID pandemic, or the January 6th committee for any potential laws they broke during their hearings. Many of us have used Wikipedia at some point over the years. If you've ever found any problems with the information on their website, take heart. It looks like Wikipedia finally has some competition. Grokipedia made its debut Monday. Ex-owner Elon Musk unveiled the new online encyclopedia. Musk says he wanted to create a more truthful and independent alternative to what he says are the editorial biases of the human writers of Wikipedia. Grokipedia does not allow human edits, but uses the Grok AI to check for accuracy. It also allows users to send feedback if they feel like an entry has a mistake in it. Users are already reporting differences in how Grok and Wiki cover the same topic, especially politically charged topics like January 6th and the death of George Floyd. Users commenting on X say Grokipedia uses reasoned, factual language with greater nuance and detail without pushing a narrative. Grokipedia is already estimated to have nearly 900,000 articles and counting, although it was down for several hours on its first day because so many people were using it. Speaking of competition, better watch out Hollywood. Major studios and streamers seem to be releasing darker, more inappropriate content for children. We recently showed you a series that seemed to promote transgender ideology to children as young as 7. If Hollywood won't create great shows and movies for children, maybe the children should take over Hollywood and create their own shows and movies. One LA business owner is teaching them how to do just that. Tige Charity of Kids in the Spotlight joins us now to tell us more. Taiji, would you say that entertainment geared towards children is in general getting better or getting worse?
Oh, how I would love to say it's getting better, but unfortunately, I think it is getting worse, getting a little
Mm,
bit more and more provocative. Yes. However, I mean, the good thing is that we are, I think, seeing more diverse stories and representation on screen, which is for me a huge step forward. But at the same time, I believe there's still room for Hollywood to be more intentional storytellers, sharing stories that inspire, sharing stories that teach empathy and reflect the real challenges, I think, and triumph that young people truly face today. So, and I think kids deserve that. They deserve inspirational content that help inspire, guide, and teach them, and not just entertain them.
So we know that film media has a huge impact on the minds of children. Just how big is that impact on the imagination of a child, and how does it grow their imagination and help them tell their story?
Wow. I mean, honestly, it's very impactful. Film and television really shapes how young people view themselves and how the world around them views them, as well as how they view the world around them. So, when children see characters that look like them or characters that have overcome challenges like them, at least like the youth that we serve, it really does model some type of positive reinforcement, and also presents positive choices for them. It plants seeds of possibilities. And I think that's very important. And that's why we're passionate at Kids in the Spotlight, really about teaching young people to use film as a tool for healing and storytelling. And it changes how they see themselves and, again, how the world sees them.
Yeah, it seems that so much of content nowadays, even content directed towards children, is sexually explicit or tries to steer them in one particular direction. Should studios be focused on that type of a message?
Oh, absolutely not. At least not in my opinion. I mean, I think children should be protected and really allowed to develop emotionally and mentally at a healthy pace. So I personally think studios have a responsibility to produce age appropriate content that nurtures imaginations and curiosity and character, not content that confuses or explicit their innocence. And then it also goes both ways in terms of the household and what kids are being allowed to consume and watch. So I think Hollywood has a responsibility, and I also think the family structure has a responsibility as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we've talked about a lot before, is the responsibility of parents always being aware of not only what's out there, but what their kids are watching. It's not always on the TV, so for everyone in the room to see. Sometimes it's on their little phone in their room, and parents really have to be especially vigilant on the type of content that the kids consume. So
Absolutely.
with Kids in the Spotlight, you teach young people how to become filmmakers themselves. What kinds of films are they making?
I mean, our young people really tell powerful, deep stories, I should say, that's rooted in their experiences because we work with kids that have been impacted by foster care. So they tell stories related to the experiences that they have encountered, but they also tell stories of hope and stories of a world that they would like to see, and they dream. They tell stories about what life would look like on the other side of their pain, and also life are stories that really speak to humanity as a whole. So many of them have grown up in foster care, so they touch themes like belonging and resilience, forgiveness, and even hope. Yeah, they create raw, emotional, and just incredible, authentic stories. I just love seeing them on the other side of the journey of storytelling.
Yeah,
turning
what a
pain into purpose. That's what I like to say, turning pain into purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great outlet for that type of pain, like you said, to be able to put that down, and what a great way to work through it.
Yeah.
So what aspects of filmmaking or producing do they learn with Kids in the Spotlight?
Oh, they learn the entire process. It's from script to screen. So that includes screenwriting, acting, directing, producing, camera operations, sound, lighting, editing. I mean, wardrobe, craft services, all the things. But beyond the technical skills, they also learn teamwork and communication. They learn accountability and leadership, skills that will serve them long after the camera stop rolling. So we offer a very robust program that really speaks to the whole person of the young people. And filmmaking for us is just the avenue in which we use to reach young people, to show them that they matter, their stories matter, their experience matter, and that they're not alone.
Yeah. So how did you get started with the whole program? What was your motivation behind getting into this?
I always tell people that's a loaded question, but I visited a girls' group home with my husband, who's an actor, and I saw how deeply those young people um, wanted to be seen and wanted to be heard. And something about that visit literally just cracked my heart wide open and compelled me to want to give back, to want to create some type of outlet and platform for those young people to be seen and heard and validated and also celebrated. And we're in LA, we're in Los Angeles. I mean, it's still the entertainment capital of the world, in my humble opinion. But yeah, it was just a moment that became the spark for what has now grown into a full production studio and workforce development program.
Wow, that's fantastic. I'm blown away by all of this. I hear you have a red carpet event coming up. What will you and the kids be doing for that?
Oh my, we're getting ready. It's this Saturday, November 1st at Paramount Studios. The Kids Film Awards is our version of the Academy Awards, is what we like to call it, or the Golden Globes. It's a night where our young filmmakers walk what we call the blue carpet, where we screen their films and celebrate them for completing the program, celebrate their creativity and courage. It's an awards like none other. They get awards for best actor, best screenplay, best picture. Just a transformative experience for them. We dress them. We send hair. We do hair and makeup. We send limousines to our studio and to our partnering locations to pick them up, to bring them to Paramount Studios to be celebrated, to really be celebrated. So it's very transformative.
Wow, yeah, it sounds like it. Does Kids in the Spotlight cater to mostly minority filmmakers, or are children of all races welcome to participate?
Well, our primary focus at Kids in the Spotlight is system impacted youth that have been through foster care, the juvenile system, also kids that just would be considered underrepresented youth, I should say. So it doesn't matter for us, regardless of race, but our participants and youth of foster care really, it's a disproportionate represented um, platform for foster youth. The numbers are, majority African American and Hispanic young people that are in the foster care system. So our program tends to have a very high number of African American and Hispanic young people that go through our program and whose voices have been marginalized. So to share their stories and be a part of this positive change in Hollywood is what we're doing for these young people. But it's really those who have been impacted, regardless of your race.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned the awards this coming weekend. What's next for Kids in the Spotlight after that?
Ooh, hopefully some rest for the team. That's one of the big things we want. But our youth recently created a feature-length documentary called Recovering Innocence, and it is about the overuse of psychotropic drugs prescribed
Mm,
to kids in foster care because
yeah.
often um, prescription medication is usually the coping mechanism that is given to these youth, not for them per se, but for the adults who deal with them, who care for them, I should say, or are supposed to care for them. And so youth that are now on the other side of that journey decided that they really wanted to impact positive change and policy change regarding this topic. So they went on a 2-year journey of completing this documentary. And so afterwards, we're screening that film at Department of Children and Family Services and a couple of other partnering organizations just to really get the word out about recovering innocence. So that's next. And on the other side of that, we're working on creating a performing arts boarding academy for young people in foster care between the ages of, or between the grade of 9th and 12th grade.
Wow. And finally, Tige, what is the impact that you would like your young filmmakers, the ones you train, to have on Hollywood and on the world?
I want them to reshape the narrative. I want them to be the leaders of their own story, especially young people with lived experience. I want them to bring truth and empathy and humanity to the screen. I hope that our young filmmakers go on to create films that not only entertain, but again, also inspire and remind the world that brilliance can come from the most unexpected places. So I want them to shine and to step into their greatness. At the end of every class at Kids in the Spotlight, our youth say their affirmation of, I can do great things because I was created to do great things. So I want to see them doing the great things that they were created to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all fantastic. I'm completely blown away by all of your efforts and everything that you're doing. Tige, we've had your contact information on the screen so people know how to reach out and get in touch with you if they have any questions. As Tige Charity of Kids in the Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. I hope you enjoy your rest.
Me
It's
too.
well earned, for sure.
Yes.
President Trump is visiting Asia this week and met with the newly elected and first female Prime Minister of Japan. Sanai Takaichi, Japan's first female prime minister, welcomed President Trump to Japan along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. But formal talks had to wait while they watched Shohei Ohtani play Game 3 of the World Series. Takaichi congratulated the president on his peace deals in the Middle East, as well as in Asia between Thailand and Cambodia and India and Pakistan. For his part, President Trump said he's always had great love and respect for Japan, and anything he can do for Japan, he will. The leaders signed a new bilateral trade agreement, with both calling it a new golden age of U.S.-Japan relations. After the meetings, Takaichi presented Trump with a putter that had belonged to the late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was a personal friend of Trump's. She also donated 250 additional cherry blossom trees to help beautify Washington, D.C. for the USA's 250th birthday next year. Finally, what would you do if you saw your child's school bus on fire? You'd probably do exactly what one mom in Minnesota did, and she saved the lives of 22 kids. East Bethel mom Carrie Thorpe was waiting for her 6-year-old daughter to arrive home from school when she saw a fire break out under the front of the bus as it stopped at front of her house. Thorpe immediately hurried all the kids off the bus, and the driver too, just moments before the front end of the bus was consumed in flames, followed by multiple explosions. Everyone on the bus escaped safely, and there were no injuries. A week later, the families of the kids surprised Thorpe and the bus driver with thank you gifts, recognizing that if not for their quick action, the outcome could have been quite different. Well, that's it for now. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment, and engage with us so that YouTube and all the socials push it out to more viewers. If you're interested in becoming a DFE sponsor, you can click on the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Thanks for watching DFE News. News done right. See you next time.